Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are talking about BFT, one of the SPAC plays that we've been talking about on this channel for the last week or two. Now currently BFT, who are set to merge with Paysafe in the first half of 2021, they're sitting at $14.61 per share pre-market, so the market hasn't opened yet. So the last few days for BFT on the stock market has been crazy. It has seen some massive gains. So when we first started looking into BFT and Paysafe on this channel around a week ago, it was around $12 per share. I think it was under that. It was around $11.90, $11.95 per share. We started talking about it on the channel. So if you did invest at that point, you are up massively. It's now at $14.61. So those are what, 20% gains in a matter of a week or so, which is pretty good. So there are some really good positives for BFT, but there are a couple of things that we need to look out for before I do my price target, my price prediction at the end of this video. So obviously BFT merging with Paysafe. Paysafe are a fintech company. This merger or set merger for next year, it will be one of the biggest SPAC mergers in terms of valuation. It's currently valued at $9 billion, this merger valuation. So it is quite a big SPAC merger that we're talking about. And obviously Paysafe, one of the leading online sort of payment processing, they're heavily linked or heavily involved in online gambling and also in-game purchases as well, such as Fortnite purchases. So that's going to be quite popular and that's going to grow. So the online gambling and the online gaming, that's set to grow and continue. That's where a lot of their expected or future like total addressable market growth is going to come, especially from the gaming side of things. So it is a very interesting and very exciting stock moving forward. So it's no secret, if you've watched a couple of my BFT or Paysafe stock analysis and update videos, I am a shareholder in BFT. I've been buying BFT quite recently, even though it went up around 15% in a day. I still purchased some on Monday, and when it opened, I allowed it. I thought there'd be an initial drop off after the first couple of hours because I think it opened up. I think it was around the $15 or over $15 per share. So I waited until it dropped to around $14.70 and I purchased some more to go alongside some of the shares that I bought under $13. So like I said, there are a couple of things that we do need to pick up on. So going through the investor presentation and the details around the merger that they had on Paysafe's website, there are a couple of things that I'm not sure if I addressed them in the first video. So I want to address them now just so you've got the full picture and then we can discuss in the comments down below what your thoughts are around it. So firstly, when you actually look into their GAAP and non-GAAP reconciliation on their investor presentation, you'll see that in 2019, they reported $111.9 million net loss. And this has grown from $41 million net loss in 2018. But I couldn't see in the presentation a lot of detail around what this net loss is made up of. Obviously, they're talking about their revenue and for 2021 over $1 billion in revenue. So that's all good, but they're still seeing a net loss. So what I'd want to do, especially if I'm investing more as the share price goes up, if I was going to invest more in BFT and once it merges with Paysafe, I really want to find out what these net losses are attributed to, and there wasn't a lot of detail around it. So that is something that I definitely want to find out some more information on. And another thing is the company do have debt at the moment, which they're looking to pay off as part of this merger. So again, it's just going forward, how they will handle debt. Will it actually grow or will they sort of live within their means? Depends how they want to grow the company. Obviously with an online gambling and payment processing, you can't necessarily imagine there'd be too much overheads. It's not as if they need to have factories and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how the debt is managed once the company merge moving forward. So that is something to keep an eye on as well. So now on to my price target for the end of year, my potential price prediction. Obviously we cannot see into the future. So this is just my thoughts and my prediction based on the stuff that I've read and my sort of feeling towards BFT merging with Paysafe. So currently, if you compare it to PayPal and Square, I do believe Paysafe is currently undervalued compared to those. Whether it's undervalued itself is another thing. But if you look at PayPal and Square, they're currently around 10 to 12x their PS ratios, the price to sales ratio. Whereas if you take a $9 to $10 billion valuation on Paysafe, it's around a 7 to 8x on price to sales. So so if you compare it to Square and PayPal, then it is slightly undervalued. So potentially it is undervalued at the moment. Of according to the share price now. And obviously the shout out on CNBC with one of the analysts saying that this could 2 to 3x in the future has obviously pushed the share price up. And we spoke about it in our last video. It went up 15% in a day, which is pretty insane, especially for a company that I'm invested in, because I don't necessarily see those type of things. I see obviously companies go up and down massively all the time, but it's nice to have one that you actually own go up in value by that much in a single day. So obviously that shout out and all this hype that has then been brought on it, obviously it's quite a popular one on YouTube as well, and I know on some of the stock sort of chats and channels it is very popular there too, and you can see why. So I do think this is a very good potential swing trade. Long term, I'd want to find out a bit more about that debt previously, and a bit more about the net losses that they've previously been reporting as well. So I think it's a good swing trade and long-term trade, but there's a bit more information needed to be found out before me personally, I start buying some more as the share price goes up. So in terms of price prediction, so I think if it can consolidate at $14.50 this week, form a new bottom in terms of $14.50 per share, and then push on from here. I think the end of year, because there's only a couple of weeks to the end of the year, I think this could potentially hit, I'm quite conservative, probably $16 to $18. I think that's quite a respectable price for the end of year, given the hype that's around it. It's got good fundamentals anyway. So yeah, around $16 to $18 per share by the end of year is my price prediction. If there then is more news around the merger in the first half of next year, because obviously it hasn't been confirmed yet, that will then push the share price up. And if more analysts, especially analysts on CNBC, start talking about it again, this will push the share price up as well. So I think a $16 is quite realistic for the end of year. I think if there's any more catalysts in terms of more merger news or more analysts talking about it, then it could push it up to 18 to potentially 20 as a bullish sort of estimate. But 16 to 18 is my end of year target. So that's just a quick update on my price target for BFT, soon to be merging with Paysafe. Let me know in the comments down below if you're still buying BFT, what your price target is for the end of the year, and whether you're swing trading this or whether you're here to invest in them for the long term. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Remember, I've got my portfolio update coming out at the end of this week, so stay tuned for that. If you are new, hit the subscribe button, join our investing community. Thank you very much for watching, and stay safe.